Hi, I'm Lexi Lewis. I've been a student at Harding Township School since 6th grade. I just moved schools and towns during the middle of a pandemic. Even though COVID-19 was an extremely rough year for HTS, they found a way to welcome their students back into the classroom, while many of my friends were stuck on their couches in their virtual classroom. My first day at HTS was in September of 2020. I was wearing a red dress and had my hair curled. I never knew what it was like switching schools. I remember walking down the butterfly garden with my stomach literally full of butterflies. I stood there looking around. I was greeted by so many teachers and was given a piece of paper that said 6-2. I had no clue what to expect. All the emotions stirring in my stomach made me realize how every student felt on their first day at a new school. Was this school going to be good for me? Was I going to meet friends? Was I going to like the teachers? Yes, yes, and yes. Life is like a chapter book. Here are some of my chapters. Chapter 1, Homeroom. Homeroom is something no kid ever forgets. So much happens in the first 20 minutes of your day. I was so lucky to be part of Mr. Hoffman and Mrs. Latzman's homeroom. We have made so many memories in that class, including Moon Silent Ball, talking about Pillsbury cookies, and the Wordle. All memories that won't be forgotten. Chapter 2, Science. My real science education started with Dr. G in 6th and 7th grade. Dr. G was probably one of the funniest teachers in the school at the time. Students might not think science is fun, but Dr. G made science fun, learning fun, and everything fun. It was so devastating to hear that Dr. G was retiring because he was one of the classes I looked forward to. But we were lucky enough to have Mrs. Inglesman take over the job. Mrs. Inglesman, you are such a fantastic science teacher. You've taught us so much, and I'm very grateful to have you this year. You've given us so many lab opportunities and encouraged fun along the way. The s'mores lab was delicious. How many kids get to make s'mores in school and get to eat them? Chapter 3, Language Arts. Now I'll take you back to some early moments in middle school. In 6th grade, I had a teacher named Mrs. Johansson, and she will be a teacher I will never forget. When one of my classmates and I were being a little creative with markers, she understood and allowed us our time to be creative. Mrs. B and Miss Oles made every class fun. Although not everyone would say dreadful grammar sheets are amazing, the best part was when we would get tickets and had a contest to see who had the most. Do you remember when Aiden always had to have someone hold his tickets? I do. The one thing I always remember is how Mrs. Warner greets all of her students with a huge smile and tells us today won't be a hard day. When I injured my foot, I was extremely grateful for her positivity and encouragement. She encouraged me through the healing process. She always asked me for an update, and to this day she still does. Mrs. Warner never failed to prepare her students enough for any upcoming work. Chapter 4, History. Mr. Hoffman's class always makes me laugh. There was one ongoing conversations about hot dogs and hot tubs. So random, right? Anyway, history class is always fun and exciting and full of entertaining conversations, weird videos, and intriguing TMS IDKs. I remember that one class where we had to put a Jolly Rancher in our mouth and meditate, thinking about the flavor. The best part was the candy. Mr. Hoffman, you bring so much fun to your learning. Every Halloween, he shares the same 3 stories, but they never get old. They're creepy, spooky, and also comical. Chapter 5, Math. Mrs. Cochran is an outstanding teacher and makes math make sense. You've helped me through all my middle school years, including early morning math. I'll never forget that one class where Mrs. Inglesman made a cube out of PVC pipes and Aiden sat in it during the class just to be funny. Even though Mrs. Mahaly had to go on maternity leave, our time with her will never be forgotten. Mr. Lee, you might be the second funniest teacher in the school. You have made math class a class that I'm excited to attend. You never fail to make me laugh. Chapter 6, French. Madame Coy, you've been a real lifesaver. For all the years you've been teaching me, you have more than taught me but also guided me. You've surprised us with so many gifts from France, and I'm very grateful for all of them. Merci d'être le meilleur professeur de français de tous les temps. Chapter 7, Chorus. Mrs. Grow, you've been one of the easiest teachers for me to talk to. You guide me to the right answer and not the wrong. You are one of the teachers I can come to for a hug when it's needed, or a hair tie. I want to thank you always for putting the spotlight on your students and letting everyone shine in their own unique way. My time at HTS has come to an end. The butterflies that greeted me on my first day in the garden are now leaving me, and flying away to someone new to welcome them and show them that everything's meant to be. As Maya Angelou stated, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve the beauty. To the entire HTS community, thank you for all you have done to help me grow as a student, a friend, and as a person. I'm forever grateful.